Okay guys, welcome back. I'm doing part 2 of the homeless segment where I talked about my childhood being with my mom. So as I said before, I'm not I don't think that this is appropriate for children to hear. So if they're around, please escort them out or watch the video later. I said in the last video at the very end to share this video. Please do. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you guys can get updates when I upload another video. I'm going to be doing a lot of them because I have a lot of these to talk about. I'm just being obedient. Okay, so let's get into it. So I left off talking about my mom and the fact that, she had all three of us and it was a struggle and how we ate. But I do want to say that just because there was a struggle, we knew she loved us. We knew that. All of us, we knew it. And we loved her back. But it wasn't easy. So we went to different schools. We were not stable. Of course, we didn't have places to stay, So it's ideally so that we would not be in one place for a long time. I think I said State Street was the most stable. That's where she died. And then also my Aunt Jewel, who I absolutely love. My Aunt Jewel was like such oh my goodness, an amazing woman. Her and my Uncle James took care of us as far as making sure we were okay. They would come drive up and down alleys looking for us. Because my Aunt Jewel wanted to make sure that my mom had, food for us, or if we had a need, that they was there. They would find us. And I'm so grateful for them. My Uncle James has passed on, but my Aunt Jewel is still here, and I love that lady. Like, I love her endlessly. So, however, there was a time when the social worker, my grandmother called the social worker, CPS people on my mom and said that she had abandoned us with her. My mom said, no, I didn't. I told her I'm leaving them there. I'll be back. It just took me longer to come back because my mom was trying to do whatever, find secure a place to live and all of that, work, whatever. My grandmother wasn't having it, but the judge ended up telling my grandmother, no, she didn't abandon the children. She left them with you, so it's not abandonment. But they assigned a caseworker who was very strict and told my mother she had 3 days to find an apartment and furnish it for us, or they would take us away and put us in foster care. And so what ended up happening was my Aunt Jewel said, she's lying. She's not giving you 3 days. That lady is mean. She's only giving you a day. And sure enough, that's what happened. But my Aunt Jewel knew. So she went out. Her and Uncle James, they found an apartment. They paid for a deposit, paid for the rent a few months. And then we went up and down alleys looking for pieces and straps to make things out of, like a table and other little things my Uncle James made that and put it in that apartment for us. My Aunt Jewel gave us her refrigerator and her couch and other little things. And so we were able to get furniture and beds in that apartment. And I was so happy because we were actually going to have a bed of our own. I was going to have a place we can call home. It was stability. And it was great, on Princeton Street, Southside Chicago. But anyhow, my oldest brother, there was a Catholic church that was around. We didn't have food like that. So he went there one day and they had a soup kitchen or whatever. And so they allowed him at that time to work in a soup kitchen. And he dragged my youngest brother along with him. And they would bring back containers of food. And I remember having like spaghetti with garlic bread in there with a little lettuce and a little slice of cake. It was in heaven. I was in heaven. So my mom had her own. I had my own. My brothers had their own. And that's how we ate, because my oldest brother went and worked in the soup kitchen and provided food for us. We had at least a meal a day. So that was just a blessing. Like, God looked out for us in so many different ways. My mother dealt with the issues from her past that kept her from being there. I don't want to say emotionally, because she was there emotionally, but she was scarred emotionally. So her decision making wasn't the best. Plus the lead poisoning altered her, when I say common sense, but it altered her development as a child growing up. In addition to that, the trauma, like I said, from her father, all of that together was just overwhelming. So I understand. Like I said, at the time we didn't know anything was wrong, but we know we loved her. Like we knew we loved her. But that fateful night, she had actually sent me away 2 weeks prior, a week prior, I'm sorry, to go see my uncle and his children, his baby mom and her children. And I just did not want to leave my mom. I just felt like something was wrong. I did not want to leave her. I felt like it was the last time I would see her. My heart was torn. She gave me $20, and as soon as I got over there, they took it. And I was crying to her on the phone because she had called over there to check on me. But I just missed her. I mean, it was nice dealing with them. I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to be with my mom. Well, while there, I heard the phone ring, and I see my uncle's girlfriend or baby mom crying, and she's trying to hide her face from me, and I didn't understand what was going on. And that's when we found out that my mom had, passed away. I found out a little later, but she knew then. So all I knew at the time was that my uncle was coming to pick me up, and we was going to go, he was going to come pick me up, and that was it. They didn't tell me nothing. I get in the car, we go to my grandmother's house. And in the car, my brothers are there. And I'm like, hey, where's mom? And they're like, you'll see, you'll find out. So my brothers knew. I did not know. We get upstairs to my grandmother's house and her apartment. And then I heard them say, Louetta's gone. Like, that crushed me. I'm like, gone where? Where'd she go? And then they said, she died. Mama died. It's what my youngest brother told me. And it broke me. Whew, I still feel it now. Whew, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to apologize. I shouldn't do that. But it broke me. It broke me so bad. I remember going into the restroom while they were still conversing, and I saw a butter knife, and I tried to slit my wrist. But the knife was too weak, and I was 8 years old trying to really take my life because I was like, how dare she leave me, right? But that was a hard thing, and even now the memories still hurt, and that was in 1987. Well, we stayed with my grandmother. At that time, she just kept us, all 3 of us. She took us in. But we had stability. We had food, My grandmother taught me how to budget, how to save money, how to clean, all these things that I needed as a woman. But most importantly, my grandmother introduced us to God. Oh, my goodness. I heard God before. Like, I knew him. When I was 5, he was with me when I was raped that first time. I heard a voice, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. But I developed a relationship with him, with my grandmother, because she kept us in church. Like, we were there. But then, we had trauma times, right? Of course, my youngest brother was very busy. He was active. He was acting out. So we were always getting whoopings. And my grandmother had this thing of, I don't know who did it, so I'm going to whoop all y'all to make sure I got the right one. Negative. That was so traumatizing. Not only that, they would put their head between their legs and clamp down, so if you would move, you can't really go nowhere, they would get you real good. And then you had to go pick your own switch, the green kind that don't break, you know what I mean? So we all lived that trauma. But anyway, it kept me in line. I didn't get in trouble as an adult. But however, my grandmother used to clean house for this wonderful couple downtown in a high-rise condo. And I used to go with her to work on Saturdays, so I used to learn how to clean up. And one Saturday, this other lady who was a maid as well, she put water on the floor because she was jealous of my grandmother, I believe. And I slid and went straight into that pole and busted my head open. So if you see this little line here, that's where that came from. My grandmother was mad. I had to get, I think it was 4 or 5 stitches in my head, and I was in pain. But that was okay. I felt better because she got me McDonald's. But anyhow, my grandmother, she did what she could for us. She provided. She did a great job, the best she could. But then, on December 5th, 1989, a little over 2 years later, my grandmother died of a heart attack. And I was at school. I felt it. I knew it. I instantly knew it. I felt it. And I told my teacher my grandmother just died. She said, "You're crazy. What are you talking about? Your grandmother just died." And then they called my name on the intercom and told me to come to the front office because I had to go home. And my teacher was looking at me with her mouth open like, "How did you know? What's going on?" So she had a student walk down there with me, and I didn't find out my grandmother died until I got to the house, but she had passed on. So that's the part 2 of that series there, of death trauma for us. My grandmother passed away, like I said, a little over 2 years after my mom passed. And then my aunt, who raised me, kept all 3 of us, but it became too much for her. She had already had her own child, so we were eventually separated. My oldest brother and I moved to Texas, and my younger brother stayed in Chicago, and that's where his life took a spin for the worse. So, not because of where he was, but just because of the anger that was built up, because he didn't have support the way he wanted it. He wanted his mom, he didn't know his dad, and we were left, like we were gone, we were taken away. Not that they did it intentionally, of course. My aunt just couldn't handle it. She lost her sister and her mom, like back to back. She needed to get out of Chicago. So that's how I ended up in Texas. But anyhow, that's that. I'm going to stop there, and I'll pick this story back up next week, guys, because it's a lot. It's heavy. It's a lot. But again, as always, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.